Hey F1 fans, welcome to my video finally for the Azerbaijan Baku Grand Prix. Here's the track. Okay, so here we are, F1 Drivers Championship standings. Here is the positions. We still have 18 positions. The last two drivers still don't have any points. We will be looking at the results from race 3 versus race 4. Okay, here are the standings at race 3, and here are the new standings at race 4. And of course, the points from last time and this time. Okay, look at that. These are all the drivers that stayed in the same position. Let's just do a quick rundown of what happened to each one. Max got a hole in his side pod after Russell hit him in the sprint race. In the main race, starting P2, gets ahead of Leclerc in a few laps, then pits just before the safety car, losing out to Perez. He tries hard to catch him for a while, but they're too evenly matched and finishes the race in P2. Perez wins the sprint race, starting in P3 in their main race, also gets ahead of Leclerc and pits at the right time during the safety car, gets ahead of Verstappen, who pitted before, and stays there to win the race. Great weekend for Perez. Alonso, starting in P6, had a great race, great tire management, passed Sainz after the restart, and later made a dash for Leclerc in the last 12 laps, but didn't quite make it, finishing in P4. Hamilton, starting in P5, he also pit before the safety car and loses out because of that. Tries to get past Sainz later on, but just doesn't manage to pull it off, falling behind him in P6. Finishing behind him, I should say. Sainz spun during Q1, but no damage to the car, so that's good. Started the main race in P4 and finished in P5. Bottas, starting in P13, got hit near the start and eked out a P18 after having to make 3 pit stops due to terrible tire degradation. Ocon, starting from the pit lane for changes during Parc Fermé, stayed on the same hard tires and pitted on the very last lap, almost running over the photographers who had already been let into the pit lane. He finished P15 after that stop. Oscar Piastri, who was fighting a stomach bug all weekend, started P10 and finished P11. Gasly crashed during Q1 in the same spot as Nick, causing a second red flag with 7.5 minutes to go. This was in the sprint race. In the main race, starting P17, finishing P14. Zhou, starting P15 and had to retire lap 37 due to an issue. Yuki loses a wheel in the sprint race, but the team sent him back out after replacing him, then brought him back in again. Anyway, in the main race, he started P8 and winning another point for his team with another P10. Continuing to outperform that car. Kevin Magnussen had engine trouble during Q1 in quali and was asked to stop. In the main race, starting P16 and finishing P13. Albon starting P12 in the main race and finishing P12. All right, now we have some drivers that moved down in the standings. Lance Stroll started his race in P9 and finished in P7, so had a good race. Lando, pretty bad performance in the sprint on soft tires. Starting the main race in P7, lost out by pitting before the safety car as well, but only to the 2 cars who had to pit at the end, so nothing was really lost, and he finished in P9. And Hülkenberg, starting from the pit lane for changes in Parc Fermé, like Ocon, stayed on the same hard tires the entire race and pitted near the last lap just to get in that second compound, finishing P17. And finally, we have drivers that move up. So George Russell, starting in P11, got a bad start and fell back several spots, but fought back to P8. And Charles, really what I was going to say is kind of getting back into where he should be in the championship based on being in Ferrari. He just had a lot of miserable races and DNFs. So he started P1, had a great start, but he got passed by both Red Bulls, finishing in P3. And finally, I'll just give a nod to drivers who are still without points. Nick de Vries crashed during Q1, causing a red flag with 10 minutes to go. That was a sprint race, I believe. He started main race in P18, and his steering failed pretty early in the race, resulting in a DNF. And Logan Sargent crashed in Sprint Quali 3 and does not participate in the sprint race at all. He starts P14 in the main race and finished P16. Okay, and then for the teams, the Construction Championship standings. Here are the positions. We're going from how they stood last time, how they stand this time, and the point changes. All right, so we have a whole bunch, as expected, of teams that haven't shifted around. It's actually very close between Alpine, Haas, and Alfa Romeo. They are at 6, 7, and 8 points, so they're going to be duking that out. Some excitement to come. And Alfa Romeo making more pit stops than anyone else, really struggling with tire deg in both cars. And then we have the last two teams actually switched places, so that's something interesting. AlphaTauri moving up thanks to Yuki scoring another point. So that's it for this week's standings changes. Sorry it was a bit late. I had an exam on Tuesday. Now that's done. And also I'm not going to be doing for the next 2 weeks because we are on vacation. But I will pick up comparing race 4 against whatever the race is at that point. I haven't looked ahead. So I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you like, and see you on the next one.